Can you guys all hear me okay?
What?
I have 6 kids, you know, I can yell really loudly.
She's so nice and subdued so.
Yeah, you know, when I used to walk into my brother's house, when he had kids before me, and I'd walk in the house and they'd run to the door and they'd go, shh, because the babies would all be sleeping and I'd wake them all up.
We just
So-
call me Lane.
Yeah, I get that now that I have kids. So, gentlemen, how's it going today? Everybody's warm? Full? Fat and happy? That's what we used to say. Everyone's good? So, you know, I've been here a few times already. My name is Elaine Dalton. I'm an attorney in Groveland, and I specialize in elder law and planning to protect your assets should you need a nursing home. Also doing general estate planning to make sure that you have an updated will, an updated power of attorney, healthcare proxy, and make sure that your house is held, the way that you, that would be best for you and your situation. So there isn't really a one-fits-all estate plan, you know, like your estate plan is gonna be different probably from his estate plan, and everyone's situations are different. So, in general though, everybody needs the same types of documents, just how they're worded is gonna be different for people. So, I'm gonna start out with just an overview of the estate planning documents that really everyone needs. So a will is really important. Does everybody, who does not have an updated will? You guys all have updated wills? You do not have updated wills. Somebody's lying to me.
I being a sound mind spent it. Didn't cost me any money.
If you do have updated wills, good for you. But if your wills were created when your children were small and your situation is different than it is today, certainly, then you definitely need a checkup, a legal checkup. Okay? So a will is important because if you don't have the correct will, guess what's going to happen? The state's going to determine who gets all your assets. And I don't know about you. That's not good, right? So a lot of kids, a lot of parents have kids that are well off and they have other kids that aren't as well off, so they don't want it split evenly anymore as the kids get older. You know, they have different goals in mind. So if that's something, you know, I have people who actually disinherit kids in their wills for various reasons. They think they're the only people that do it and they're not. So family dynamics change, and you need to make sure that your will is updated and it reflects accurately what your wishes are. Because telling somebody what your wishes are isn't going to make it happen. Okay? That's not a legal thing to do. You can't create your own will in Massachusetts and sign it and date it and pray for the best. Now, I understand that a lot of people feel, well, I'm going to be gone, I don't really care. But I don't like that attitude. Please care, because I'm going to clean up the mess when you're gone. Please don't do that. So, if you don't have a will or an updated will, it's time that you saw an attorney, and I'm in Groveland, it can be me, I don't charge to review your wills, and have somebody review it. A power of attorney, durable power of attorney. Does anybody know what that is? Okay, what is it?
Somebody has to be able to handle your account, sign checks and pay bills and so forth.
Excellent. So how many of you have an updated power of attorney? Well, at this stage of the game, if you're married, you don't just want your spouse on it. You want to have one of your kids on it too. Because tragically, should something happen to the two of you where you are incapacitated and you can't run your own affairs, you need somebody, or one of your kids or someone you trust. I always say kids, but not everybody has a good kid. So you want to have somebody that you trust, whether it be a grandchild or a niece or a nephew or somebody on there that can step in for all matters financial for you. So a durable power of attorney is really important for that reason. Also to be able to get into your digital assets. Does anybody do online banking or online anything financial? Raise your hand if you do. Okay, we have a few of you. Most powers of attorney don't cover those. So if your power of attorney wasn't updated with that information in the past couple of years, you definitely want to have it updated, okay? Because if you have a stroke and you have financial things that you access online, your power of attorney and your wife, unless her name's on it, can't get into that. unless they have a correct power of attorney giving them that particular power. Also, if you're incapacitated, you have Alzheimer's, you have dementia, and you need a guardian, someone to take care of your affairs, a power of attorney should cover that too. So that makes it easier for somebody to step in and take care of you without going to court to get that permission, okay? So it's really, really important to have a durable power of attorney. I had a couple in, and I will tell you, they're very powerful. I mean, if you're out of town and your wife wants to sell your house behind your back and she has your power of attorney, she can do that. You'll come home and you won't live there anymore. So, and it is very, I have never had that happen, but it's a very powerful document. I had a younger couple in their 40s in to sign it. And the husband goes, "Can she wipe me out?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, I can't sign this." I had to leave them alone, let them work it out for a little while. He signed it. So, they're still okay.
Too late then.
Pardon me?
It's too late after they had something funny.
Well, he's all set, he had full knowledge. The other document that you need is a healthcare proxy, an updated healthcare proxy. Does everybody have one done by a lawyer, not a hospital? Okay, because hospital ones are not legal healthcare proxies, all right? So if you've got a legal one done by a lawyer and you go to a hospital, make sure you don't sign their healthcare proxies because they're always throwing them in your face as soon as you get admitted to the hospital. You make sure that somebody brings your legal healthcare proxy to the hospital for you, okay? And if it's in my office, we can fax it over. So just make sure, and make sure your healthcare agents are updated as well. So in Massachusetts, you need a primary healthcare agent and you need an alternate. Excuse me, and your healthcare proxy has to be signed by at least your primary, accepting that appointment. So that's a really important document, because if you are not able to make your healthcare decisions, someone else needs to step in for you to do that. And then once you're back able to make your decisions, that goes away and, you know, your healthcare agent's off duty till the next time. Also, I would recommend you have a copy of that healthcare proxy in an envelope with your name on it that says medical document, and hang it on your fridge. Because if an ambulance is ever called, that's what they're gonna look for. Okay, they're gonna wanna grab that. So, I'm a little fanatical. I put one in my overnight bag and I carry them like everywhere I am, but, yeah, so make sure you have that. Does everybody have a living will? Do you know what that is? Okay, what is it? Anybody want to answer my question? Come on, class, let's go, wake up. Yeah, coffee? How would you like to be in high school with no coffee, right? Having to answer these
I'd love to
questions.
be.
You'd love to be in high school. Coffee or no coffee?
Is that the one where someone
How do you arrange
made
it?
a life decision?
Yes, that is, that states that if you're in a terminally ill condition, you're brain dead and you're never coming back and you're on life support, let me go.
DNR?
Okay. Pardon me?
DNR?
No, DNR is different. Now, you have to think long and hard about a DNR, and I'll tell you why in a second. But the living will is done by a lawyer, and it's a document that states, you know, that those are your wishes. You don't want to be kept on life support and artificially hydrated, artificially fed, things like that. Now, living wills aren't legal documents in Massachusetts, meaning that it's guidance for your doctors and your healthcare agents, but if you had a living will and your spouse decided she didn't want to honor it, I can't sue her for it, okay? But doctors do look for those, and they do discuss them with the healthcare agents. And then we do another document, which is a patient authorization. You know when you go to the doctors and you sign 100 HIPAA privacy documents? So we give the healthcare, we have a document that gives the healthcare agents the right to talk to your doctors and see your medical records. So that if you came home from the doctors and your healthcare agent was like, I'm not buying that he's okay, I want to talk to the doctor, they can with that document, which is very helpful. And I have kids who are, two of them are over 18, one's soon to be over 18, so I can't talk to anybody. You know, I pay their college tuition, right? Can't talk to the college.
You can't even get their grades.
Can't get their grades. Can't get their grades. Well, they're going back, so I assume they were good. And you know, and also with their doctors. We have the health insurance, but I can't talk to the health insurance company for them, and I cannot talk to their doctors.
He's a lawyer?
It does as a parent.
Oh, as a parent.
Anybody, I can't, no. So what did
That's
I give
privacy,
them?
yeah.
I gave them for Christmas last year, full estate plans. So they're all signed up. Yeah, so, we've got that all covered now. We can talk to everybody. So my son's gonna be 18 on St. Patrick's Day. He goes, I know, Mom, I have to sign my will, I know. I'm like, yep, that's part of your 18th birthday. So this gentleman talked about a DNR. So a DNR is a do not resuscitate, which is only done by a doctor. A lawyer can't do that. So what that means is, if you had a heart attack and you're at your house and the EMT comes, if you have a DNR, they're not gonna do anything for you. Well, I don't know about you, but I kinda want them to. You know what I mean? If I was terminally ill and I was in a hospital, I would definitely sign a DNR, because bringing me back isn't gonna help me. So you need to analyze where you are in your life and how your health is before you sign a DNR. Okay? So a lot of people wanna run out and do them with their doctors, and that's fine, I mean, that's your personal decision. But think about your quality of life today, and would it be okay if you were brought back, you know? In Massachusetts too, when you go to your doctors, they have what's called a MOLST document, Massachusetts Order of Life Sustaining Treatment, I believe it's called, whatever, but it's a MOLST. And it's a document about 3 pages long that you go over with either the nurse practitioner or the doctor. And it has all different scenarios, like if you want to be intubated at all, if it's going to be temporary, if it's going to be permanent, do you want that to happen to you? All different kinds of scenarios that may be an imposition on your quality of life. Do you want those things done to you? And that's an excellent thing to fill out with your doctors or your nurse practitioners.
Is that a new document?
In the past few years, yes.
I think it's.
'Cause
No,
Oh,
that's
that's
different, yeah.
I went through something similar. I
Yeah.
lost my wife
Oh, you
in
did,
2012,
I'm sorry.
and she didn't want anything to keep her alive unless she fell and broke her arm and they could fix that and so forth. But I mean, to the point she had an addendum put on her will, do not resuscitate, no artificial means of life support and so forth. She had a terminal illness.
Right, okay, so that totally makes sense. And the doctor, I'm sure, wrote all that up for her.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was not a problem.
right,
In fact, she was in a nursing home, and they wouldn't transport her by ambulance. That was in there. I managed to get that so they wouldn't, if something happened, they wouldn't transport her.
yeah, you have to think about all those things. You really do, you know?
Well, it happened, I got a call one morning because she had to go to the hospital. I took her to the hospital.
Yeah,
And I went in and raised hell about it. And after that, I had it written in and so forth. They were not to transport.
yeah,
In other words, if she fell and was gonna die, let her die where she was. I mean,
right,
that was her choice. I mean, she did all of this with a lawyer and so forth, so.
yeah. Well, because it's
I've
impeding on
been-
your quality of health.
I've been through that.
Your quality of life, yeah, that's good, that's a good point. So, all these things, that we don't really wanna think about, we really have to, because you're in charge, you're your best advocate, today. And I don't know about you, there's not a kid in my family I trust with that right now.
Smart lady.
Not trusting any of them. Love them all, but that's about as far as it goes. So I can just hear them now. Let her go. She's, she only has a broken arm. Let her go. I can hear it now. So
I
Yeah.
went through it and had to make a change for my own benefit because of my wife's situation.
there you go.
One
So
of
that
my
was
kids had a problem with it, and I have since changed.
good.
Who's responsible for me?
Well, that's what you have to do, because it's, and listen, I gotta tell you, I have a lot of clients come in, right, and they'll have 3 kids, let's say, Johnny, Susan, and Mary. So they'll sit down and they'll go, well, Johnny's the oldest, so we're gonna make him in charge of everything. Well, first of all, they aren't positions of glory, okay? Second of all, Johnny may not be the right kid. Just because he's the oldest doesn't mean he's the wisest in certain areas. So I really try to counsel my clients as to who has the best financial sense, who has the best medical sense. It might not be both people, or the same person. Because like in my family, my brother is useless. So when my mother was dying a few years ago, I was her healthcare proxy. Thank God. My brother would have been a deer in the headlights. I don't know what to do. I don't know. he was too emotional too. And it's not that I'm not emotional, but I can take the emotion out of it better and think about what's best for her. So that's who you wanna look at, those types of personalities when you're deciding who's gonna help you. And also in your will, we now have personal representatives. So if you have executors in your wills, they're a little outdated. So the personal representative isn't really gonna do a lot. The personal representative is gonna probably contact a probate attorney after you pass to walk them through the process. So, you know, don't worry about appointing somebody who's kind of clueless if that's all you have in your family, because they won't have to. If they hire an attorney, the attorney's gonna walk them through everything and really control that. But your healthcare proxy and your financial person for your power of attorney, you have to make sure they're suited for those positions. You know? So does anybody have any questions before I continue? No? Go
One
ahead.
comment, I tell, my whole family knows it, nobody else is gonna give me a bath. When I can't give myself a bath, pull the plug.
Okay.
Down the drain.
Well, if you're living and breathing like you are now, there's no plug. You mean the plug in the bathtub? I mean, what are you talking about?
Drain all the water.
When I start to smell bad enough,
Let 'em drown.
let it go.
Just push his head under. There you go. We
I
didn't
hear
see
all this
anything.
paperwork, of all this paperwork you have, what state is the most simplest? That's where I'm gonna move to.
What's the state is the most simplest?
Now,
They're
what
all the
country?
same.
They're all what country,
Mm.
where it can be quick and easy.
What, I know, oh, you mean for what?
For all this paperwork to steer things through.
Oh, Florida's pretty easy.
Where's Florida?
Yeah, that's very senior friendly down
Well, I
there.
get an ID card for Florida, that's where I should.
Well, there you go. Trot, go right there.
Leave me your Jeep.
A friend of mine used to say it's God's waiting room.
It is. My husband just came back yesterday. He was visiting his father and he's like, Lane, everybody's old. But he had fun. Yeah, good boy. So, does anybody have any questions about the basic documents or procedures or policy, anything that we just talked about? No? You all set with that? Okay. So, how about your?
You can't die unless you got paperwork.
Ah! Well, let's hope you have paperwork when you die. Isn't that correct? The right paperwork. I don't want to see your paid off mortgages. That's what people bring me in. They're paid off mortgages, right? They're discharges from things. I'm like, I don't want to see those. That's great. Show me the money. Show me what you really have. So in your relationship with your lawyer, whoever that is really important because you have to be able to discuss things with your attorney very openly. I ask my clients a lot of questions, and I get to know who they are, what their goals are, what their assets are. I don't do that to be nosy. I do that so I know what I'm dealing with. If there's ever a crisis, I need to know what you have out there so I can protect it. If we're protecting assets at the outset, I need to know what you have that I can help you protect. So my goal, I'm not taking your money, I'm not interested in really anything personal, except for the fact that I need to know what it is you have so I can help you. And luckily, I have very open clients who are ready to talk about that stuff. And this is stuff that people don't usually talk about with their kids, you know? And I have a lot of kids that will call me up, parents in their 80s, from the generation that you don't talk about it, you know? I can't ask my parents what they have because they don't talk about it. Well, get the parents in here and let me try to talk to them because we need to talk about it. You know, I clean up a lot of messes when people die, and it's a lot easier to get everything in order before you go. That's my experience. And it's a lot cheaper for your family and a lot less headaches and stress. So people often ask me about probate and not going through probate. Is that a question for anybody? Like how do you avoid probate?
What is probate? You go to court?
Probate is after you pass away, your will goes to the court, or if you don't have a will, we still go to court, and we get the court's blessing to start distributing your assets. And when you do that, all of your assets become public, right? Because your file at the probate court is a public file. So everybody that's passed away in the state of Massachusetts, whose estate had to be probated, is on file. So I can go to the registry and pull anyone's record and see exactly what they have. and who it all went to.
Yeah, I know, when my dad died, the notice in the paper said how much money he had.
You did?
Yeah,
Melody, our notices in the paper, they don't tell you how much money the person has.
No. How long ago was that?
1965.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
back then.
Well, that was the year I was born. So I can't really attest to that. It was a good year, I can tell you that. So, interesting, we don't do that. Melody runs the show, by the way, yeah.
Is there any problem with distributing through, like a Roth IRA going to your kids?
No,
And your regular IRA going to your wife?
no, no. When you come to a certain stage in life, if your wife is in a nursing home and you're not,
Right.
and you pass away, your IRA, for the way that you have it, is gonna go to your wife, right?
Yeah.
But who's it really gonna go to?
Well, to stay in nursing home,
Nursing home.
if you got it and you can pay it, that's life. That's how I look at it. Yeah, I hate to say it because of people who don't. If you can afford to spend that 100,000 in a couple of, just say after a year or two,
Mhm.
2 years, well, it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Be thankful
Okay.
you were there.
I respectfully disagree with you,
Yeah,
okay? But I do have clients that do think like that, and that's okay. If you don't think like that and you wanna protect your assets, there's a way to protect them too, so you're not paying everything over to a nursing home. Okay, but that's an individual choice, that's a personal decision. I protect assets a lot, that's what I do every week, with protecting somebody's assets. But I did wanna get back to the probate stuff, so yes, it would go out of probate, it doesn't go through probate, it
Right.
goes directly to
Right.
your beneficiaries.
And if you have it in a trust, it can go directly to the trust without going through probate.
That's right, it goes directly to your beneficiaries without going through probate, exactly. So,
If it's jointly owned, does it go directly?
depends on who your beneficiary is.
Well,
Oh, if it's joint, I'm sorry, what was the question?
If assets are jointly owned.
No, it goes to the other person that owns them,
not-
Okay.
Not through probate.
correct.
Okay.
So a joint checking account goes right to that person. If you're widowed, I highly recommend that you put somebody else's name on your accounts because, you're gonna have a big probate problem if you don't do that. Okay, and you can even do a paid on death. So if you don't want your irresponsible, kid on your checking account with you, that's fine. But make sure that you have a paid on death for that account so that it passes to somebody when you die and it won't go through probate, because that's a pain in the neck to probate checking accounts with like $1,000 in them. It's $2,500 for all the filing fees at the probate court. So it doesn't even make sense. So, you wanna just make sure that you've got someone else's name on stuff like that, or paid on death, which is fine too.
EOD.
POD. And if you have anything in a trust, it should pass outside of probate. But it's okay to, so a lot of clients, I don't know a lot, I have a handful. I had a woman come in, her father passed away, she said, Elaine, here's his trust. He created a trust, so everything should be going through the trust. Nothing went through the trust, because you know what happened? A trust is like a vase. You can create the trust, the document, right? But a vase is no good unless you put something in it, right? You've got to fund the trust. He never did that. So he never put the house in the trust. You have to deed the house into the trust. You have to change the names of accounts into the trust. So if you don't do those things, that's just a waste of time and a waste of money because you didn't use it. All right?
You don't inherit it if it isn't done?
She inherited it, but that was one story, but she did inherit it, but it was a longer process. So it didn't go through the trust.
Legal fees and all that,
Well, yeah, you have to go to probate
yeah, all I
because
can.
nothing was in the trust. So that's a much longer process. So if you're leaving your house to your kids in your will, they're gonna wait about 6 months to a year. They can sell it, but they can't divvy up all the proceeds till all the bills are paid. Versus they got it through a trust, they own it the day after you pass away. The minute after you pass away, it's theirs. No waiting time.
multiple names the same way. In other words, the minute you pass away,
Mhm.
person can do what they want with it.
That's right.
So what about, you have, think of how it goes on. Well, you have a couple of kids, okay, and let's say you put them on some documents, you're afraid that if one of them gets divorced, okay, then their spouse can get half of,
Well, okay, back up. What documents did you just put them on?
okay,
That was a
say-
little too vague for me.
okay. I'm trying to think of what it was, because a lawyer said to me, you shouldn't put, your kids on there, if they're married, because their spouse, if they get divorced, their spouse should get.
Okay, are you talking about deeding your house over to your kids?
Right.
Okay, I never recommend that. Let me give you a very real case that happened in locally. So this woman deeded her house over to her kids, didn't talk to me. I was not her lawyer at that time. She deeded her house over to her 3 kids. One of her daughters was married to a guy that had a huge IRS lien placed on them. So guess what? Not only was the lien placed on the daughter and her husband's house, it was also placed on my client's house. So now my client needs an equity line, and she can't get one, because there's this huge lien on her house that she has nothing to do with. $100,000
Oh,
that has to get paid off. Big mess. So when do you think I saw her? For the mess, right? I didn't see her before it, because that wouldn't have happened. So I always put assets like that in a trust, always,
that's the
because
best- best
yeah.
thing to trust.
because then they're safe.
That's
They
what
don't.
we
They
did.
can't be liened.
Multiple ownership,
Yeah.
if you're getting sued, they can only get a portion of it, can they not?
Interesting. So multiple ownership of property.
Yeah, property, say real
Okay.
estate.
So you and who?
Say me and my daughter and my wife.
No, they can attach the whole thing. But if you have a homestead on your property, especially an elderly homestead, for you and your wife, then you're protected up to $1 million worth of equity in the property. Not from the IRS though, they can grab it, and not from Medicaid. Medicaid can always lien. But you are protected if there's a car accident, for instance, that your daughter was drunk driving and she hit somebody and she didn't have enough insurance and she owns a piece of your property, they cannot collect on that lien because you'd have a homestead on it.
So now the homestead will apply just to the elderly parents or also to the kids?
Doesn't apply to her, but she doesn't need it to apply to her.
Okay, okay,
Because
I
all
understand.
that, I'm assuming your property would be not valued more than $1 million
No.
of equity, and that would be protected during your lifetime. So, and then the liens only are good for so many years.
In a homestead, there's no time limit on it, it's,
No, but a new homestead, if you don't have a new homestead, I'd say in the last 3 years or so, you may wanna look into that, getting an updated homestead, because it'll afford you more protection. Yes,
If, if you don't have changes, any special change in your life, how often should you sit down with your attorney and review your whole,
excellent question. So if you haven't reviewed it with your attorney, I'd say in the past 6 years or so, because a lot of things have changed, it's time. You definitely have to do that. And then unless things change after that, you're probably good for a while. And your attorney will contact you if there's a major change that he or she needs to go over with you. But yeah, you should, if you haven't updated your documents, just have them looked at, because it doesn't cost you, well, it doesn't cost you anything in my office. I don't know about anyone else, and why not? You know what I mean? Why not just have them looked at? So, any other questions? You've asked some great questions, you guys. And you're all guys, I can say that. Anything else?
Is Esquire, male or female?
Esquire, usually can go with either.
What does that mean, Esquire?
Just means attorney. Somebody who can represent you in court. It's, yeah, I like it. Melody likes it, more importantly. So Melody runs the show. Everybody can wave to Melody. She's right there. Yay! And we're open 3 days a week. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Your first visit is always complimentary, and we even serve coffee. Gotta let you know. Tea. We're the hostess with the mostest. And we will try to accommodate you for whatever time that you need. We are closed on Wednesdays and Fridays. I have a lot of kids and a lot of things to get done. And my husband said, I have 9-year-old twins. He said, when they go to school full-time, you'll work full-time. I'm like, oh, no, I won't. They've been in school full-time for 5 years. Not happening. But I love what I do. I love my practice. I love to help people. And I'd have to say, we have a very happy place. So even if you just want to come by and say hi, you're always welcome. And if you have any questions, just feel free to call. Okay?
As I remember, the homestead thing is pretty simple.
Mhm.
It doesn't cost very much.
Nope, it's $35 to put the homestead on record.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where are you located?
Oh, we are located in the Groveland Business Park. I lived in Groveland for 17 years and never knew we had one. Do you guys know about that?
Oh, no.
Okay, it's over near, on Route 97, right next to Pub 97.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no,
Oh, no.
sorry, Cafe 97.
Yeah.
Everything's 97.
Yeah.
It's near the, you know,
I've seen
gas
it.
station 97, China, Tea Garden 97. We just put a 97 after everything.
We're gonna have
So-
a new name soon.
Yeah, it will, right. So we're right next door. There's a used car dealership on the corner.
Yeah.
And then the Groveland Business Park, and if you drive straight in, I'm in a green building right in front of you on the second floor. Can't miss us, okay?
Elevator?
No, but I have an office downstairs, so if you cannot make it to the second floor, just let us know when you call, and we'll meet you downstairs. Yeah, my landlord's fabulous. Built me another little office space. You don't have an elevator. It was either that or put an elevator in, right? So you, lesser of two evils. Any other questions? Thank you guys. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Thank you, everybody. Good food, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be back next month, won't you?